Hello and welcome back to the Essex Allotment farm. My name's Alex. We're on the farm today, not the cafe. I'm the founder of the Essex Allotment farm, which is a 4-season market garden selling organic vegetables or growing organic vegetables to end consumer through farmers markets and a veg box service. It's half term, so I'm vlogging a little bit more frequently this week. And as you can see, I've got my helper behind me. Say hello.
Hello.
And today we've braved it. We have braved it. The weather is brutal, absolutely brutal, and we're going to be pottering around, pun intended, in the tool shed, keeping dry and doing jobs around there. But I'll show you why we're not doing proper farming. Just look how bad this weather is. This is a couple of my compost bays, or bays where I store manures that are dropped off. Look how wet this is. So as you can see, it's pretty brutal, which is why we're keeping sort of like the dry part of the, I've done that twice in this video already, the dry part of the farm. Oh, let me jump back in the shed, this is horrible. Oh yes, it's brutal out there. Maverick, my son's name's Maverick, I don't know if you know that, but he is hiding, but working. I'll show you what he's doing in the shed. We're going to try and get these kale cuttings put into pots. We've already stopped off at the garden centre because I'm out of rooting powder, so we'll get that job done in a minute. That's the main job that we want to get done. There's about 30 or so cuttings there that have been sent by someone. But yeah, anyway, we're sort of working in the tool shed because it's the driest part. For those who are new to my channel, my farm sort of cambers slightly to the south. So I do get quite a good runoff, and the water mainly collects in that big pond. There's drainage ditches around the outside edges of the main field. And yeah, it collects and sort of accumulates into... You want to get on camera, mate? It sort of collects and accumulates into that main pond that you saw in one of the pictures where you're distracting me. So yeah, it collects in the big pond. So the farm, compared to a lot of places, stays relatively dry because it's got that slight camber and a lot of the water runs off. Anyway, the area around the shed by design is nice and dry underfoot, or as dry as it could be underfoot. Lots of wood chips in this area that we've put down over the last 3 years. So yeah, we're going to focus in this area today with our work. Right, let's crack on. So while my helper is filling up pots for those kale cuttings, this is just a mixture of store-bought compost and a little bit of my well-rotted manure we've just mixed up. I'm going to chuck the cuttings in that. They're really hardy, these kale cuttings, so you don't need cutting compost or seed compost. I'm just using a multi-purpose veggie compost mixed in with some of my manure. That'll be absolutely fine for their short life that they'll be in these pots. And like I said, we'll give them a little bit of boost with some rooting gel. Again, with this kind of cuttings, that's just a nice to do, really. A safety net with the gel. You don't need it. They're so good at rooting from any kind of cutting from the main plant that they'll be fine without it. The strawberry babies that we planted up in these newly positioned raised beds are doing great. I think they've even come on a little bit. If you look right in, some new growth already. They've only been in 2 days, but they were pretty established, self-rooted runners. But anyway, they're looking good. They'll stay there for a few months and establish on, and then we'll have to thin them out a little bit. They're quite intensely, but you learnt all about that in the last vlog. And then again from the last vlog, we cut down all that mint and gave it a fresh layer of well-rotted manure. And you can see already, because mint is so prolific, it's already found its way to the surface. Again, in like 2 days, and it's already poking through the thick layer of mulch that we put down. Anyway, let's crack on with these kale cuttings. Pick it up again. So how many in a crate?
12.
And how many crates we got?
2.
So how many pots in total?
24.
Good work. So this is Taunton Dean perennial kale. I was lucky that a friend of mine on Instagram sent me a box full of cuttings. I've no idea how many are in there, but we're going to go for 24 to start off with. We should have plenty for that. Taunton Dean's a perennial kale. If you're not familiar with it, it'll crop all year round. Obviously slows down in the winter, but will crop all year round. As I mentioned earlier, it's super easy to take canes from. We're going to take these side shoots, trim them down to 1 or 2 tiny small leaves, and dip them in rooting powder and stick them in the pots, and that is it. We'll give them a good water and then leave them in this tool shed that is actually a potting shed, so it's got lots of light and ventilation, so they'll do fine in here. I had 12 Taunton Dean bushes. They sort of like growing sort of like a style of a bush, and lost them all last winter when it got down to -10. So I'm gonna have to start again. I managed to get 2 cuttings last year, and so I've got a couple of small plants that are a bit further on than this. One of them's at the new cafe site, which I'll be at tomorrow, and the other one's actually at my parents' house there. Molly coddled it for me last year, to sort of cover bases. So that's all I've got as far as Taunton Dean kale plants go. It is one of my favourite kales. It's super easy to grow. Like I said, I never had any issues with it until last winter, where I lost it all in the -10 overnight temperatures. But this will give me a great opportunity to get a decent crop later in the season, or depending on how these side shoots do, maybe next season Taunton Dean kale will be back in full production. So I'm going to crack on. Yeah, please. I have done the first 24, yeah, 24, and I've actually put them on the roof. Let me show you, of the shed to water. Still chucking it down out here, so I can't do it like that. Maybe turn the camera out. No point in wasting mains water. Oh. They can stay out there for half an hour while I see how many cuttings I've got left, and be nicely watered in. So as I was tidying up, I found 12 of the gnarliest cuttings, like little side shoots and bits like that. But as I sort of alluded to earlier, I kind of find these the easiest plant to get cuttings rooted from, if that makes sense. I've never really had one fail, and I've probably done about upwards of 50 or 60 cuttings over the time, and then lost plants to the real hard frost that we had a couple of years ago. Anyway, that's why I'm redoing this piece of work. But yeah, I'm going to show you these 12 cuttings that I've just done. Aren't you meant to be getting on with the pots? We need 12 more pots. How many have you got done?
3.
Well, get cracking then. So yeah, I've manufactured 12 cuttings that I wouldn't usually use, but we've got the pots, we've got the trays, we've got the compost, we're here doing it. There ain't much else we can be getting on with because it's so wet. So we're going to give it a go, why not? So these are the cuttings that I would never usually use. Some of them are a bit look better than the others. Like that one's not even got any. I've never tried anything like that. That's not got any leaf left on it. I like to usually try and use one little bit of leaf left on the plant. Like that's not too bad, I guess, but it's a bit of a weird shape. It's probably the best one of this lot. It's a little bit, you know, it comes off of a node here a little bit differently. There's a really thick, hard bit of stem with a tiny little shoot. We'll give it a go, see what happens. How many out of these 12 dodgy cuttings do you think will grow into successful kale plants?
Noise.
Truthfully, I think that's probably all we're going to get done today on the farm. I want to get on with stuff, I really do, but I just can't work in these conditions, not today. It's more, I'm alright with the rain, I've got sufficient raincoats and stuff like that. Obviously got the little one with me who isn't going to work in this kind of thing. I wouldn't expect him to do that. But the underfoot conditions, it'll do more damage than it will do any good, me trying to work in such a muddy field. So we're going to call it a day. That's the end of the vlog. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I'm at the cafe tomorrow, so it'll be a little bit different. So bye. Say bye.